pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hilberg.
Here.
Colasar.
Here.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here. Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of July 11th and the special minutes of the meeting for July 19th and August 3rd as prepared and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second.
August 2nd.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to the council meeting, and we had several items to be on the next council agenda, and it was great discussion. Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, Mr. Colzar.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and no report this evening.
Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Water and Utilities Committee, Mr. Hilberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meetings, nothing to report.
And Emerging Technologies Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Requests for council action. We have several items on the Finance Committee. We have 16-117 budget amendments, 16-118 increased PO for HD supply service, 16-119 income tax adjustment for Memorial Pool, 16-120 expenditure over $15,000 for your construction chip grant, 16-121 expenditure over $15,000 to Traffic Inc. for the street department, 16-122 increased PO 2016-926 for the chip grant of 4205 Sleepy Hollow, 16-123 expenditure over $15,000 of Medina Auto Parts, 16-124 purchase of one Smeo pumper on Spartan chassis for the fire department, a state bid, 16-125 amend MCRC joint operating agreement section 507, 16-126 expenditure over $15,000 to HSH excavating for the street department, 16-127 expenditure over $15,000 for Stryker EMS equipment, 16-128 Memorial Pool and Pool House improvements and amenities, 16-129 accept donation from Van Epp Fund, 16-130 payment over $3,000 for Cupcake a Day, 16-131 2016 city auction, 16-132 acknowledged vacation of sanitary easement for city lot 8332, and finally 16-133 amending code section 13301 association memberships. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to welcome council back after your break. The International Festival was this past Saturday, August 20th. We had great weather, great attendance, and a great event. I'd like to thank Main Street Medina for hosting this again. Couple of words from Heritage Ohio. Renew Medina was awarded the best residential rehabilitation project in the state by Heritage Ohio. This was just last week, and our own Kimberly Marshall was selected as the best public leader in revitalization, also by Heritage Ohio. Both will be recognized at a reception in Cincinnati on Tuesday, October 11th, and congratulations to both Main Street and Kimberly. The Masonic Temple demolition began about 2 to 3 weeks ago internally inside the building, removing some of the hazardous material and insulations inside. They're going to begin shortly, like next Monday, on actually tearing down the structure. Fences will be erected along the south edge of the City Hall parking lot and the west side of the city lot adjacent to Porter Shoes and the walkway to the old theater. Public and businesses and city staff had been advised that additional parking for these fenced-in areas may be found at the city-owned lot at the southeast corner of South Elmwood and West Liberty Street, and the county has granted us permission to use their lot on the west side of South Elmwood across from Napa Auto Parts. We're getting signage made for these to indicate that both lots are long-term all-day parking as well as free. And then I'd just like to briefly mention a number of upcoming events on our square. On August 27th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. is Jazz Under the Stars. United Church of Christ Congregational will host a service on Sunday, August 28th from 10 a.m. to 1. It's a service and a picnic, I believe. The International Overdose Awareness will have an event on August 31st on the square from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then there'll be a senior citizen walk on September 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last set of budgets, the general fund, have been turned into me. I believe I have them all, and I'll get them back to council this week, and then we'll be working on our last set of budgets. We're very happy in the Finance Department to be receiving an award this evening from the Auditor of State's Office, and then there's some items on the agenda that I will address when we get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Lieutenant Burke-Beckler, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple items to note. The new property owner of the former Medina Chamber of Commerce site has also started prep work for their demolition of those buildings. We will likely see more activity on that site this week. This is the first project as a result of our downtown strategic redevelopment plan, so we're very excited to see this get moving forward. Our business retention and expansion visitation program is in full swing, and that's been keeping us busy this summer. It has been great to hear about the growth happening in the city from all the different companies that we've been visiting. They are investing in machinery and equipment, software programs, a variety of building improvements, sustainability initiatives, and some are adding complete second shifts. The common theme across the board is workforce development, as companies still struggle to find good work, and then also sometimes there's some turnover due to drug-related issues, so we still have much work to do there. There's not one company that we visited that is not looking to hire for at least one position, and in most cases, multiple positions. So last year, I think we saw more growth from companies actually expanding their physical footprint space. This year, it's more internal investment. We are working with Discount Drug Mart on a conveyor caster system project in their warehouse. This is to an upgrade to accommodate growth of additional products. And I want to thank Dan Gladish for coming in very early last week to approve their building plans. They are on a very tight timeline to get this project off the ground, and they're very appreciative. We will be meeting with a local manufacturing company on another warehouse renovation project. So that's another growth project on the books. We'll keep you informed as that unveils. Friday, August 12th, we held 4 ribbon cutting events. This is again jointly with Medina Chamber of Commerce, Medina County Economic Development Corporation, and Main Street Medina. The first one is Qdro Consultants. They expanded in Medina by opening a second location at 780 East Smith Road. They're a local niche company with a national reputation. They provide services to domestic relations attorneys and courts in drafting legal orders, dividing pensions and 401ks. The company originally started in Medina and outgrew their space and moved out of the city in 2009 to a location on Pearl Road in Medina Township. Then they outgrew that space. They're now returning to the city of Medina and bringing 12 of the company's 50 employees to the newly renovated space. We're really excited to have them back in the city, and we're positive that they will continue to grow in that location and then beyond. First Impression is a new local nonprofit that opened up serving women in Medina County to assist them with appropriate business attire for job interviews. To date, they've helped out 5 clients. They are located at 775 West Smith Road. And so basically they accept donations of gently used professional women's attire, and then they're getting clients from local agencies. And that was started by Kathy Warner. Huntington Woods Apartments, located at 795 Minor Drive, invested over $2.4 million in renovations. Project highlights include interior unit upgrades to most of the units. They built 2 new playgrounds, various weatherproofing, drainage, facade renovations, concrete paving work. They rebuilt a manager's office. They added a community room, fitness center, and computer kiosk, exterior lighting upgrade and security upgrades, and a second floor manager's suite. And again, they were very appreciative of all the efforts with the city, working with the building department, as they've had multiple projects throughout this. And the people that own the property are interested in possibly doing some other projects. So we're excited for that investment. Holiday Inn Express, located at 5185 Gateway Drive, celebrated their grand opening. This is the new hotel. Project represents over $9 million investment and approximately 25 new jobs. And this project is located in our joint economic development district that the city has with Montville Township. They opened shortly before the Republican National Convention, and by that week they were completely booked, so they're off to a very good start. On August 2nd, the Economic Development Committee hosted a banker and real estate panel, and as Economic Development Director, I'm very thankful for our partnership with the folks that participated. Mr. Jim Gerspacher was our moderator. He did a great job. And then our panelists were Mr. Steve Van Dett from First Merit Bank, Joe Bolinovich from Westfield Bank, and then Troy Gerspacher represented the real estate panel side of it. All of them did a fantastic job, and we appreciate the time they took out of their schedules to participate. Everything that they reported was very positive, not just for the city, but for the surrounding county. And then the next City of Medina Economic Development Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 6th at 8 a.m. Our guest speaker will be Congressman Jim Renacci, who will talk about comprehensive tax reform. At this time, we have about 30 business leaders confirmed to attend that meeting. If you are interested in attending, please let me know, because if we don't have enough space in the multi-purpose room, we may have to move off-site somewhere. We'll have to get a bigger space. So, and that's it. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Planning and Community Development Director, Mr. Mendel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Chief Painter, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 quick reminders for the community. The new fall brochure is available at the front desk and online at www.medinarec.org for the rec center. Also, we are running a back-to-school membership sale through September 5th. All new members can get 15% off an annual membership to the rec. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did recently enter into contract with James Finnegan Construction and Astro Pool Incorporated for the project at Memorial Pool for the pool house renovation and the pool renovation. The contractors started mobilizing this week and have a tentative completion date of Memorial Day 2017. The Parks Department also recently completed the construction of a new pavilion at Ken Cleveland Park. It is available for rent. It was tore down for quite some time. Additionally, the department recently removed the playground at Liberty Park. We've had a number of phone calls from the Yorktown development. We do anticipate completion of the new playground by the end of next week. It'll be greatly improved. The Forestry Department issued emerald ash borer tree removal notifications last week to all the residents along Savannah Trail in the Liberty Woods subdivision. We anticipate removal and replacement of those trees this fall, likely by December. And lastly, you'll notice that a couple sections up on the square are roped off. This is part of our turf renovation project. This will be the 3rd round where we are intentionally killing the grass and planting an appropriate, more appropriate grass for the high use area. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to share with Council and the public an up-to-date report for some of the building department's activities. My report is for the first 8 months of this year. I will compare it to the first 8 months of last year. The report is in regards to both new construction and renovation of existing structures throughout the city. There were 781 construction permits issued with construction values of $14.6 million. This is an increase of $4.5 million over the same time period of last year. Permit cost collected was $223,600, more than twice from last year of $106,200. $106,000. There were 1,716 inspections completed compared to 1,382 for last year. This is about a 25% increase. This is a good sign for new investment and reinvestment throughout the community for both residential and commercial projects. This ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you. Update on some of our projects. We have two projects that are near completion, Foundry Street reconstruction and our 2016 curb ramp installation. They're essentially complete, just doing the restoration now. This afternoon, our Board of Control awarded a contract for our curb replacement project that will replace curbs on portions of East Washington and South Court Street. Also, just to let the public and council know that over the summer break, two significant projects were awarded. First of all, ODOT did award a contract for the US 42 corridor improvements. That's the North Court Street project that we've been talking about for a number of years. That was awarded to DeJoya Suburban. And the city awarded our West Smith reconstruction project. That is the West Smith project that will pick up at the railroad tracks where we ended phase 1 and extend to a couple hundred feet east of State Road. Both of those projects are scheduled to start this fall. When we have more detail on it, we'll certainly pass it along. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Piccoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are continuing to work on our storm sewer improvements in various locations here in the city. Recently, we replaced 150 feet of 12-inch storm sewer on Lafayette, west of South Court Street, that was in dire need of replacement. Additionally, Finance Committee tonight passed forward the request that we had to replace about 200 feet of 15-inch and 18-inch storm sewer in the area of Valley Drive and Wimbledon east to Wadsworth Road. So with respect to the Masonic Temple demolition that you heard the mayor reference earlier, the mayor's office and several other departments have received requests for some bricks for keepsake. So as such, Pat, our city engineer, myself, have spoke to the demo contractor, and our plan is to have some bricks saved and placed on pallets at the city garage. The availability most likely will be Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, but we'll advise with regard to the timeline on that as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Confirmation of mayoral appointment. We have Keith Soy for the Recreation Center Advisory Committee for a term expiring 12/31/16, and he's filling a vacancy.
Move to confirm the mayoral appointment.
Second.
Any discussion on the mayoral appointment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the mayoral appointment?
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Notices, communications, petitions, we have 2. Liquor permits, we have not to object to the issuance of a new D1 permit to Fred W. Albrecht Grocery Company doing business as Acme Fresh Market, northwest corner of High Point Drive and State Route 3.
Move not to object.
Second, not to object.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
The second liquor permit, not to object to the stock transfer of a C1 and C2 permit to Walgreen Code DBA Walgreens 06458 805 North Court Street.
Move not to object.
Second, not to object.
Discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Unfinished business, we have none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of a majority of the council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Rebecca?
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Wadowski, and I'm the Northeast Regional Liaison for the State Auditor's Office. I'm here today to present Keith, the Finance Director, with his Auditor State Award with Distinction. A little bit about this award. The Auditor State Award with Distinction is given to those entities that file an annual CAFR and a timely financial report in accordance with GAAP, as well as receive a clean audit report. The clean audit report means that your financial audit did not contain findings for recovery, material citation, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, single audit findings, or any question cost. Out of the 5% that does the CAFR, there's only 5% that receives the State Auditor Award with Distinction, so it is the highest award that we give.
Thank you and congratulations, Keith, and the department.
Should add, hold on.
Sorry about that. We're just doing some paper shuffling up here. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. We have ordinance 11316, an ordinance correcting payroll errors concerning personnel time that was not deducted from sick time balances for the City of Medina employees.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. The software that we use when we started to do the sick time conversion to personal time, we were under the understanding from our vendor that this time was deducted out of sick time at the end of the year, and it in fact wasn't, so we need to authorize that.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 113-16 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 11416, an ordinance amending ordinance number 16515, passed December 22nd, 2015, amendment to the 2016 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
I'm moving to amend the $5,000 change order for the sewer line in the basement of City Hall here. That would come out of the unanticipated capital account.
Second to the amendment.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Mr. Piccoli, do you just want to explain a little bit why we need this amendment?
Absolutely, Mr. President. Thank you. So we had a project where we're replacing some cast iron interior sanitary lines here at City Hall in the server room, and then we ran into some corroded pipe in the adjacent room that we needed to connect to. So that's going to require some additional jackhammering in a confined space area in concrete. So that's the additional work that's necessary in order to complete this project. So I appreciate the consideration of this tonight.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the amendment?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
And will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 114-16 passes as amended.
Ordinance 11516, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in the funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation according to the attached sheets.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This expenditure has already been made. The emergency clause is so that we can get the vendor paid, and this is that's part of the grant project.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? It was on a grant project that's been satisfied already. And so, clerk, Clerk, please call the roll on the emergency clause.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 115-16 passes 7-0.
Council comments?
Mr. President?
Mr. Simpson?
Two quick things. First of all, we're having a joint Ward 1 and Ward 2 meeting. It'll be September 6th at 7 p.m. at Sidney Fenn Elementary School. So people that would be too nervous to come and address council in this forum, hopefully we can take the opportunity, and it's an informal setting, and we can discuss whatever you would like, concerns with the city and administration and council. Secondly, on September 11th at 9 a.m., the Tunnel to Towers run 5K walk to assist Wounded Warrior program. It's a phenomenal program that they're around the country building homes for wounded veterans, mainly veterans that have lost 2 or more limbs. I know that in the last few years there's been 2 built in Ohio, and I believe the third home is being constructed in Ohio at this time. So it's a worthwhile cause. It's a fun morning. Hopefully the weather's going to be good, and please join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further council comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rose?
I'd like to congratulate Kimberly and Keith on your awards. Job well done. Way to bring recognition to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Hearing none, meeting's adjourned.